The first one's going to be a little bit of trust or bust. So can we trust these guys in some certain situations, or are they going to be busts for your fantasy roster? And Anthony Richardson was an absolute stud last week against the Jets, scoring over 30 fantasy points after he was benched the previous 2 games for Joe Flacco. So can we trust him taking on the Detroit Lions, or is he going to be a bust against a tougher defense? Robert, I'll start with you. Are we trusting or busting on Anthony Richardson?
I think we're busting on Anthony Richardson this week against the Detroit Lions. I understand last week he had a big game. He was motivated. He was inspired, trying to prove himself. Plus, he was playing against the Jets, okay? We've got to take that into consideration, all right? The Detroit Lions are a different football team, a much better team defensively, who I think can cause some problems for Anthony Richardson in this matchup. So I'm going bust in this situation.
With a player like this in a week when there's 6 teams on a bye, I'm not sure trust has anything to do with it, but I can't sit that upside if I need to go find a replacement off the waiver wire. Richardson's roster rate had fallen all the way to 44%. A guy that has scored 29 or more fantasy points in a third of his career NFL games, at least the complete games, should not be available on the waiver wire. If you're missing Joe Burrow, if you're missing Josh Allen, you didn't have a backup quarterback and Richardson's available, he's definitely the guy to go get. I'm not starting him for most of the guys that I've been starting that are playing this week.
All right, I would actually take Drake May over Anthony Richardson this week just based on matchup. We've seen more quarterbacks have success against the Dolphins than we have against the Lions, number 4 and fewest fantasy points allowed to the position. We know both these guys will run a little bit. Actually, if you talk about who's had better running success, it's probably close, just in terms of, May had a 95-yard game on the ground. I just think there's a little bit higher ceiling for him this week if things go the way they should go against their matchups. Obviously, higher ceiling's going to favor Richardson more times than not, but I just don't like this matchup for him taking on Detroit. Hopefully, Alex Anzalone's absence will help Richardson on the ground. All right, next one that we're talking about here is Malik Neighbors. So we know that the Giants have a new quarterback. They're benching Daniel Jones coming off their bye week. It's going to be Tommy DeVito taking over, and we saw DeVito have some good moments last season, but what does that mean for Malik Neighbors, who has not scored a touchdown since week 3, coming off one of his worst games of the season before their bye week, 10.8 PPR points? Heath, do we trust Malik Neighbors, or is he going to be a bust?
I'm going to trust Malik Neighbors. Listen, last year, Tommy DeVito averaged more yards per pass attempt than Daniel Jones. He averaged more yards passing per game than Daniel Jones. He was bad in terms of taking too many sacks, but he was really just pretty much as good as a passer. We've seen Malik Neighbors over the course of the season basically be a top 12 wide receiver on a per game basis. I don't really anticipate DeVito having a big impact on it. And again, we're missing a ton of wide receivers this week. You start Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, I agree with Heath 100% here. I trust Malik Neighbors in this matchup this weekend. Although Tommy DeVito is going to be the starting quarterback, I think in some ways that could help Malik Neighbors, maybe develop a new relationship there where it may have been a little bit broken with Daniel Jones over the course of the season. And so Malik Neighbors, I trust him this week.
I like that. Hopefully we can get the best of Malik Neighbors. Remember, he was off to such a fantastic start. I don't know how much of that was based on Daniel Jones, just based on Malik Neighbors being the stud that he is. And it is a fantastic matchup. We know Tampa Bay has really struggled against opposing wide receivers, so hopefully Neighbors comes out and performs like the number 1 fantasy option that we saw early in the season. Next trust or bust that we got is Mike Evans. So he's been out for the last 3 games, last 4 weeks. The Bucs are coming off of their bye week. He is at practice on Wednesday, so we are expecting him to return, and he's returning to face Malik Neighbors and the Giants. So, Robert, we know how players coming off of injury, sometimes it takes a game to get back into the flow of things. We're obviously starting Mike Evans, 6 teams on a bye, but are we going to get the best of Mike Evans, or is he going to disappoint us? So are we trusting him, or is he going to be a bust?
Oh, we're trusting him all the way. And I have to trust him because he's on my roster, okay? And he's coming back from injury, and I'm excited about it, okay? So I'm trusting Mike Evans 100% to be able to come back and be the Mike Evans that we've known to see all season long and throughout his career. It's a good matchup for him. Baker Mayfield is going to be leaning on him heavily. I think he'll get the workload that he would normally get, similarly to how Christian McCaffrey came back to the 49ers, didn't expect it, but he did get the workload as if he'd been the starter all season long. So I think it'll be the same for Mike Evans. I trust him this week.
We have seen some truly epic performances from Mike Evans in the closing stages of NFL seasons over the past few years, trying to get to that 1,000-yard mark.
That's a great point.
95 yards per game he needs to average over the rest of this season to get to 1,000 yards. I think he does it, and I think he starts this week.
Oh, he may get 150 against the Giants just based on how. If they can block the Giants front. The secondary is definitely beatable. So this could be the start of that great finish for Mike Evans. And for Baker Mayfield, he needs Mike Evans back. He did have a bad game last time we saw him. He only has one game this season under 20 fantasy points with Mike Evans on the field. So getting Mike Evans back is a big boost for Baker Mayfield as well. All right, last trust or bust that we have here before we break down the Thursday night game between the Steelers and the Browns is about Deebo Samuel. And Heath, I'm going to come to you because you had some great stuff on our Fantasy Football Today podcast about Deebo Samuel. So he's been frustrating. We see a lot of fantasy managers panicking. Last week was supposed to be great for him because no George Kittle taking on a Seattle defense that he typically beats up, and he got 6.1 PPR points. He's not separating. He's not getting the numbers that we like to see from a target perspective, and Juwan Jennings seems like he's passing him as the number one receiver there for the San Francisco 49ers. So are we trusting Deebo Samuel against the Packers, or is he a bust?
I'm viewing Deebo Samuel same way I viewed him the last 5 years. If he's healthy, I'm playing Deebo Samuel. We've had plenty of these stretches from Samuel, from Kittle, from Brandon Ayuk, where they kind of disappear for a few games, and two other guys are the better guys in the pass offense. I'm not sure. Like, Deebo hasn't been 100% for a lot of this season. Last week, he played a season-high 87% of the snaps. I think he's okay. For most of the season, he's been right in that 12 fantasy point per game range. He just doesn't score any touchdowns. He has one receiving touchdown on the season. That's not predictive at all. He scores a touchdown this week. He finishes as a top 20 wide receiver.
Yeah, I trust Deebo Samuel. I agree with Heath. If he's healthy, you got to play Deebo. I mean, he's one play away from breaking a big one and taking it to the house. He still has that big playability. I know he's been struggling in the passing game as far as getting separation and things of that nature against man-to-man coverage. But at the end of the day, Deebo is still a playmaker. And with all the bye weeks and things of that nature going on this week, Deebo's a viable pick to have in your lineup this week.
I don't think, you see our colleague Dave Ritter here has him outside the top 24. I don't think many people are going to sit him. Right. Certainly not in 3 receiver leagues. You're not sitting Deebo Samuel. But he does need to step up and perform, and hopefully this is one of those games. Maybe we get a shootout between the Packers and the 49ers like we used to see back in the day. Would be fun to see Deebo Samuel looking like Deebo Samuel once again.